I'm Judy Shaw for NYSE Floor Talk. I'm here in Miami at LTF 2023, and joining me today is Juan Franck. He is managing partner at SoftBank Latin America Funds. Juan, it is wonderful to have you here. Thanks for joining me today.
Thank you so much for having me. It's a pleasure to be with you.
Thank you. Now, I am very eager to talk with you, but before we do that, quick note to our viewers. This interview is for informational purposes only. The NYSE doesn't recommend any investments or investment strategies. All right, so Juan, talk to me about SoftBank's focus in LATAM. What types of companies do you invest in, and who are some of your portfolio companies?
Great. So by way of context, SoftBank entered the region in 2019 by way of a capital commitment of $5 billion specifically to the region. That was led by the transformational vision of Marcelo Claure, who was at SoftBank at the time. And what we saw when we first entered the region was a region that was very, very big, with more than 600 million people, a very vast GDP, and with very, very big problems to solve. If you look at the region from a under-penetration of e-commerce perspective, the penetration of financial services and financial inclusion generally, all of those are under-penetrated versus the rest of the world. And so we're investing in those type of companies that have passionate and dedicated entrepreneurs who are focused on fixing these very, very big problems. And what we also noticed when we came in was that there was a capital gap for Series B and beyond. There was a lot of liquidity and access to capital for early stage investors and funds, but in Series B and beyond, there was a lack of capital that prohibited these entrepreneurs to think big in the region. And that's what we came in 2019 to bridge, that gap between the Series B and the eventual IPO. And so the history has been that we committed that initial $5 billion and have now expanded that to $8 billion, of which we've invested in around 80 companies around the region.
Okay, now talk to me about how you're bringing value to your portfolio.
That's a very good question, and we like to say that as an investor, we're bringing more than just capital to the table, which is easier said than done. Mm-hmm. But the first reason we say that is because we actually have people on the ground in the region. We have an office in Mexico City and also an office in Sao Paulo, where most of our investment professionals are seated, working elbow to elbow with our entrepreneurs and the portfolio companies in general. Then we complement the investment team with people also on the team that have operational experience. We have experts in e-commerce, digital marketing, HR, product as well, which are at the disposal of our portfolio companies to help with the inevitable strategic issues that they face as they scale in the region. And then finally, the third pillar is that ecosystem of companies we have both in Latin America and outside Latin America. The 80 investments we have in Latin America are complemented by the more than 450 investments we've made outside of Latin America. And so bringing that ecosystem together with our portfolio companies in terms of commercial agreements, strategic alliances, are all what makes SoftBank in Latin America a very differentiated type of investor.
Okay, and finally, Juan, we're here in Miami at LTF. What are your takeaways from this gathering of LATAM leaders and experts?
This is a fantastic event which I love to come to every year. It's a good event to see old and new friends. And I think there's a couple of objectives in these type of events. The first one, as I was talking about before, is the fact that portfolio companies and non-portfolio companies come together and interesting stuff happens when they talk, right? Either strategic alliances or commercial agreements. There's a lot of value to be created from the collaboration of the ecosystem. And then as an investor that is committed long-term to the region, we're always trying to find good ideas backed by good entrepreneurs in interesting markets. And so it's a fantastic way to come here and find the next new investment opportunity.
All right, well, Juan, wonderful to talk with you. Thanks for joining me on Floor Talk.
Thanks so much for having me. It's been great to see you.
Thank you.